just need to test this first. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the big show. Hopefully. We must make sure the technology is working appropriately before we even speak more, to be honest. I need to get a new computer. If anybody knows, honestly, if anybody knows how to convert the old iMacs with a really nice display into a monitor, because frankly, like, I would not need a new device if I could simply use this device for what I actually appreciate it for, which is that it has a 5K display. I'll get a Mac. I'll get a Mac Mini. I would just get a Mac Mini. Be a nerd and stuff. Okay, everything running smoothly? Okay, let us begin. Let us pray. What we are about to experience collectively is a delusion which is currently taking place inside the mind of an infant who has just incarnated very recently somewhere in our cosmos. May we give glory to her creation so that she may eventually find peace. And may it be always incredibly entertaining for all of our benefits. So I hope it's a shit show today. I really do. I am being deceptive with my title today. I probably need a new. That probably means I need a new slogan or motto. Previously, I said, sometimes wrong, always honest. I think that's what it is. What does it say on my Twitter profile? Let's see. See, memory. Gosh. Okay. So Trump, the stock market is melting down. Let us talk about let me make sure that we do not miss a moment of our fearless golden leader who comes from the House of Orange. I believe, based on some research I did in the past, I believe actually someone else said in my memory, which is very unreliable, that I am from the House of Orange, along with Donald Trump, that we share the same bloodline. I have come to believe that, as a matter of fact, and it does help to explain him. It does help to explain his behavior. He's an alien, like many of us who don't realize that, but kind of feel that way. He's an alien with superpowers in his blood. Donald Trump, he was saved by a literal miracle. If this time were the time of when our Savior came, the humans at that time would broadly accept that he was miraculously saved, because from what I understand, it kind of came to me the other day. The important part was that he realizes it. That was the most important part, okay, of him, like the attempt on his life, for his path, for his cosmic path, for his mission, which is that he had to believe it, and he believes it. And if he did not have faith before, after that day, he did. And my views on him changed that day, as did many. He does not question his instincts, which are given to him by his creator, telepathically or programmed into his DNA, basically. He does directly serve the biblical God of this universe, of this creation. His the fact that he was elected, which was also miraculous, really. I mean, to like almost anyone. Oh, I don't know. If you believed anything that you were told in 2016 by anything that other people heard around you, then you did not believe it was possible that Donald Trump would get elected. And yet, numerically and cosmically, his election was, I actually predicted it based on some math I did, based on the number 12, which the Bible shows us the importance of. Based on the number 12, he came at the end of an age. If we counted with the number 12, believe it or not. So be aware of that. He represents the race he comes from. And he cares very deeply about the race he comes from, that particular bloodline. Okay. So he cares about you. Everyone in America, he considers part of his family. He cares about you. So I just want to tell you, as far as he has great empathy within him, he does not like to see suffering amongst his kind. Okay? Amongst his kind. And that can be spiritual. It doesn't have to be literal. Those he considers to be a part of his family, he does not want you to suffer. Okay? I'll just tell you that. You can tell. He makes mistakes because of it. He believes bullshit because of it, to be honest. I have to make sure we don't miss any. His family all married Jews. That's because of their blood. They are the same family, the same race. Barron is like 8 feet tall. That's what they look like. He's tall, blonde, and blue-eyed. That's what they look like. They have special gifts. He has special gifts. People don't notice. He doesn't sleep. No one would suggest that a human being sleep as little as this man does. No one would suggest that. They would say it was very bad for your health. He has gifts. And he's not like most of those with these gifts with all kinds of like demonic kind of instincts and stuff. He kept himself pure as much as he could. No alcohol, no drugs his whole life. No nicotine his whole life. The thing he uses to help him with to get him on the vibration of his kind is he drinks Diet Coke all the time. Those chemicals help him with his natural psychic abilities, which come from his DNA. His kind were created to rule the earth, according to the Bible. So let's see. Trump Business Round Table. When the economy crashes, he will send you checks. Okay? Like, just actually, I'm just trying to ease your anxiety, to be honest, because we all have anxiety. Literally every anxiety, once you run it out until the end, is that you're going to die. Every anxiety you have in your entire life, eventually, if you go through the entire thought process and really meditate, why are you scared? Why are you scared you're going to run out of money? Why are you scared you're going to be on the street? Why are you scared you're not going to have enough to eat? It always goes there. Jesus Christ came here and told you to not fear death. And no one listened. You do not want him to come back. That's all I'm telling you. You better hope the people, the ones here that are like us, that succeed. That's all I'm saying. Here on earth, using their natural human abilities. You better hope they do. And he might be here literally to destroy the earth. He literally might be here to do that. And you must accept that that is part of God's plan. Because we just didn't make it this time. Like, we fucked up. Okay? Where the fuck is this thing? Live? I had messages about this. I listened to a show. They said, Business Roundtable. Oh, I knew it. I missed it. Fuck. I listened to a show that was on the East Coast. Well, I wonder if anything happened. Probably not. Sigh. Well, now I actually have to talk? Fuck that, man. I don't even want to. I haven't prepared anything. Well, we can talk about other things then. People can call in. Hopefully, everything works out for the best. That's all I'm hoping. Who the fuck knows? I think I'll be okay. This is what I would do if I was you. Pay attention. This is what I would do if I was you. Pay the attention to the people around Trump and what they're doing with their money. That's all I would say. Like, they know the plan. Hopefully. Hopefully they know how it ends. That's all. Hopefully they know how it ends. If they don't know it consciously, it is programmed in their DNA. Inside of them somewhere. They understand how this whole simulation ends. But let us do some research. Do not take my word for anything I say, to be honest. Do your own research. House of Orange, I literally I've done no research. I have a memory from when I was psychotic. That I was on a show where I showed someone this book. Why did they said it because of this book I have this old book. And people think about the Mandela effects as like an old book. You want to have old books before they changed history. That's what people say. So I was on this show. It was the weirdest experience. I wonder if it really happened, but it was a cool experience anyway. I mean, it was kind of crazy, but somebody invited me. I was insane. I had made many deals that if someone invited me on I would just do it. So somebody invited me on. I ended up in this place talking to these people about the town where my parents, where my bloodline founded the town. And that's history. It's not like my bloodline founded this town. So I ended up in this place. This is how I know I'm from the House of Orange. You do your own research. I'm not even going to ask about it. I have no idea what that means. But I like orange. I will tell you that. Bitcoin is orange. And Trump is orange. People call him orange. And for some reason, without thinking about it, but because I really like Bitcoin, and frankly, I considered whether researching Bitcoin and truly understanding it is a one possible ticket to salvation, because it's perfect. And it was just created. We don't know where it's from. And it had to be perfect at conception. So people call it waking up, the Great Awakening. Here we are, the Great Awakening. It was promised. It was prophesied by the one we call Q. There was a Great Awakening in 1750, actually, in the United States, had to do with Jesus Christ. So we could talk about that if anybody's interested. I was interested because I'm looking at all these cycles established in our sorry. I'm going to read from I forgot. I was supposed to read from this. We'll see. I randomly placed this $2 bill using only the Holy Spirit into this Bible. Let's see if using autism, let's see if I can use my gift that was given to me by God, which happens to be my name, which is cool, I think. And let me see if I can use my gift of autism, which makes me very uncomfortable around everyone, to find a pattern or a significance that ties into this day and this time in that random page of the Bible. Whenever we read it, I have no idea what it's going to be. Yeah, I don't want to lose my place. Orange. Yeah, somebody's saying orange. Orange has orange. Oh, yeah, I was telling you about my experience on this show. Actually, I witnessed the veil there. That was one place where I witnessed it. There were certain things when I was insane. And as I said, your creator, you must consider that he has all of the gifts that have not been eliminated from our DNA. All of the gifts, including the ones that make people kill themselves and insane and kill other people. He has all those gifts. Most of us call them mental illnesses, all at once. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is the daughter. I'm sorry. The new one. I'm sorry. We don't want her to experience, in fact, if she could just experience peace for her entire existence, which is impossible, but I think she has a mind that can handle it. If that infant can see the best of our kind, if we can redeem our race while this infant is in its developmental standards, then we will conquer this fucking place. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone will. Sorry, people think I'm insane. I am insane. I am. What do we want to talk about next? No, I was going to look up. Not the House of Orange. The Great Awakening. Yeah, this is what I did. Oh, do you want to know about how I predicted Trump's election would be significant? I can show you that. Are you interested? If you're not interested, then I will not show you. That's all. So you tell me. Based on the revelation I had when I was insane about the number 12 and how important it was. And in fact, that the current system that we use based on the number 10, it's not meant, I'm not sure that it's meant to deceive us, but in a way it does. In a way it does. It just makes everybody think they suck at math, when it would be a lot easier if we used numbers more in line with our the creator did not create math. Math was here before him, actually. Math just exists. So we have to figure that shit out for ourselves. But the Jews, the messages the Jewish people got were that numbers were important, or that like they were given some secret significance to the numbers because they're supposed to rule the earth because they have the good bloodline. The bloodline from Shem. That's the one. Jesus came and actually totally changed the rules, but nobody listened to him at all. Really. Nobody did, really. To be honest. Like I said, he is not coming the next time, according to the scripture, which I've kind of been reading a little bit. From my understanding, okay, you can look at it yourself. He's not the Messiah when he comes back. He's not here to save you. From what I've divined from it, I mean, like I said, do your own research. But the next time, when he materializes here, the next time, and it may be not as a human being this time, but he may actually materialize in his angelic form. And he is, you do not want him to come back yet, unless you want to die. If you want to die, then no problems. If you want to die anytime, if you're ready. But if you're not, nobody, literally nobody's ready for him to come back, because we're all fucked, because we fucked up. We really fucked up this time. So his spirit, you can access it telepathically by doing the rituals if you are not from the bloodline. His spirit was used to create this universe. The spirit of the Son of Man was created at the time of this universe's creation. He did not exist before the Father, okay? When the Father created this universe, that is when he created the Son of Man. And they told everybody he was there from the beginning, and he incarnated as one of us, or as flesh here, like they can do, had the full human experience, including the experience of suffering and death, which he had never experienced before he incarnated here. That is something that every angel that was created after our Father, where they come from, they had never had to experience suffering. This to incarnate here is why they learn to enjoy it, because they actually already know. Yeah, they kind of know they're going to live forever, although they forget when they get here. It's really fucked up. It's actually like I said, do your own research. Oh, I was going to show you. That's what I was going to show you. All right, check this out. This is why I figured. Oh, did anyone say they did or did not want to know about the prediction about the coming of Donald Trump? Do you want to know about that? Just say yes if you're interested. I'll tell you. I predicted something significant would happen in November 2016, based on some very simple mathematics that are also slightly biblically related because of the significance of the number 14 in Matthew, which is my favorite book of the Bible. The only one I ever really understood, I thought, until recently. Okay, here's how it goes. You ready? I'm looking at two different things. Actually, they're related. Okay, I want to make sure we get off on the right foot. I don't want to fuck up. They got me doing rituals now, intentionally. Before, I only did rituals subconsciously. I was doing rituals. Now don't even worry about it. Okay, let's see. Okay, I need you to clear your mind. Because let's see which one. There are several there are several things in here. So, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because today numerically is a 23. And I believe the math, which they had to work out too, the numbers which have significance when they created this computer. I'm sorry. When our Father created this computer program, there were certain codes that he wanted people to be able to figure out. That's all. We have 33 vertebrae. We have 23 chromosomes. So that's very simple. Without getting into anything else. We have 33 vertebrae, and we have 23 chromosomes. Well, today's the 23. It's also 3 and 11. And 11 is a number of the Elohim, just like the number 7 and 11. So actually, I thought maybe the best laid plans, honestly. I thought I had planned it perfectly, even though I was late because I keep getting lost. I'm going to read this because it starts with the number 23. And the year 2023 is when I received full-blown out-of-body visions where I was speaking directly with the creator of this universe, which I've had to question ever since, because there are many other things I did during that time which were the worst things ever got me. And basically, I ended up in the mental institution 3 times, in jail. Worst experience of my entire life. But I definitely had turned over my life to Jesus Christ. So hopefully it was good. But they lied to me, those motherfuckers. They did lie to me. I am upset. Well, perhaps there were other spirits. But okay. The question about the Sabbath. Jesus was walking through some wheat fields on a Sabbath. As his disciples walked along with him, they began to pick the heads of wheat. So the Pharisees said to Jesus, quote, "Look, it is against our law for your disciples to do that on the Sabbath." Unquote. Jesus answered, "Have you never read what David did that time when he needed something to eat? He and his men were hungry. So he went into the house of God and ate the bread offered to God. This happened when Abiathar was the high priest. According to our law, only the priests may eat this bread. But David ate it and even gave it to his men." And Jesus concluded, "The Sabbath was made for the good of man. Man was not made for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath." Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I did not know that. So praise our Creator. I actually was unaware of that. I knew Jesus had come to update the law for the Elohim bloodline. I knew that because the primordial law, which was laid down at the beginning, at the very beginning, or before humans, whatever, the 6th day, or what the law that came then was a primordial law based on what our Father had to go through before the creation of this universe. So after the creation of this universe, laws, it was intended for our spiritual evolution, for laws to be updated periodically. And angels can visit to do that. So they visited Muhammad too. I would look at it. It might not all be directly channeled from the God, the Elohim, but it was supposed to be Gabriel, and mostly, I guess maybe it was something like this. Jesus came; he was the Messiah for the good bloodline, the bloodline that is telepathic, at least with one another. That's how they are. So, okay, whatever. Okay, let me talk about the Sabbath. You're right. No, you're totally right. I had questions about the Sabbath because I was planning to work, because I was working 7 days a week. And previously I thought it was good to work 6 days a week just because I figured there was something to it. That's all I figured. I'm not religious. My mom was atheist. I happened to go through all of the rituals required to confirm me in the Catholic faith by accident, because I ended up in Catholic school because I lived overseas for a while, because my dad is a globalist who wanted to conquer the world because he represents the character of Noah. But yeah, they sent this genius, my father, to try to regulate everything because laws are important. That's what it's important to have laws that are easy to follow. So my dad, he actually said it on a TV interview. He said, I want to regulate everything. That's what he said. So you can imagine what it's like when your father is like actually channeling directly from the creator because he's from a superior race. Like it can be very difficult when you make a mistake. That's all I can say. But it's good to be a coach. And he coached my brother. My brother was a professional athlete. So sometimes it's good, but it's very strict. Very strict. That's why I was like, okay, God created the universe in like 7 days. He worked 6 days and he said you should chill out. So I was like, okay. So I was working selling cars in Northern California. I work hard. I was like 6 days a week, and actually, since I was the only one, they wouldn't hire anybody else. I kind of felt like I had to be there. So I worked 6 days a week and I took 1 day off and it was awesome. And it was like a real blessing that I worked at a car dealership that was closed on Sundays. So I kind of believed in it. But Jesus, that's what Buddha said. That's all. It's kind of fucked up, man. Like everything's really fucked up. So what Buddha said is that like Buddha is like, as far as diet goes, because there are several races here, or denominations, spiritual races, let's say, who believe in the cleaner life, and maybe even from the same. I mean, Daniel certainly did. But Buddha and then the Eastern traditions, I believe from India, they were, a lot of them were vegetarian, very strict vegetarian. So that was their rules. But Buddha's the fat one, the happy one. I think he's the one that comes to usher us into the golden age, to be honest. Is that the Maitreya Buddha? The Maitreya Buddha supposedly is the golden age. So, I mean, the golden age thing didn't enter our consciousness by accident. The orange age, I'm sorry. But is it Langley? Yes, thank you. Because people who do not understand the words I speak won't understand what's happening here. So they'll think I'm insane and like there's something wrong with me. Yeah, I woke up and played pickleball with the old people. Everything was really cool. You want to know about my day? I want to get into these numbers and not waste your time. I'm very conscientious that you have a busy schedule and you have spiritual work to do on your own, and you have a family to take care of. I mean, your life is very demanding. I do not want to demand too much of your time. So let's get to the fucking point. Oh man, there's so many stories I stop. God, but I played pickleball. I dominated. No, I didn't dominate, but I played well today. Yeah, I played well today. It was my second day. I have scars already. I don't know how these old people. It's all old people. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one guy who was maybe my age. Let's see. Oh yeah, see? The first day I went out, this bastard lobbed me. I'm pretty tall. So I was like, I can get that. At the last minute, I tried to turn around. I literally landed on my face and my glasses came off. I have bruising on my shoulder. I have like my knees fucked up. I mean, I got back up there. Like, are you okay? I'm fine, guys. You're old. Like, don't worry about me. Like, you're going to die soon, probably, if you're not careful. No, just kidding. These are the people that will last longer. They say tennis or they say, okay, for long life, as far as the studies I've read, I looked at it because I want to live I'd like to stay like this. That's all, for as long as possible, because I do not want to end up like my father, who literally channels messages. Like, that's the thing. He calls me. He's kind of like, he has Parkinson's. There are times it's like dementia, and he's like not making any sense. And he's like, someone stole my money, something like that. I'm like, my brother has control. If like, call my brother, see what's up. I'm sure everything's fine. He's like, he's like, Trinity. He goes, Trinity, 3 people are trying to steal from me. He's like, this is what he said. Actually, see if you know what he said, what he meant. This is what he said. He said, oh, what was the name? God damn it. I will recall the name. I just have to think about it. Shane. That was the name. Shane. So if anybody knows what the fuck my dad was talking about, he was like, it's in the front page of the New York Times, or it may not have been the front page, but he said it's like, he was very clear about it. It was very, very interesting. But I realized that, you know, he and I are the same, and that he does not know of which he speaks sometimes. Man, I've seen that manifest. Trinity. I was like, Trinity? I was like, Dad, are you having visions? He's like, no, I'm not having visions. Then he goes, 3, and he said Shane, like that. I was like, Shane? And he said it's in the New York Times. He said that. I was like, I was like, Dad, I hope you're okay. Like, don't worry about it. Nobody has access to any of your accounts. Like, and they called me back. And he was like, oh, everything's fine. It's like, very weird. But because of that, that's why I predicted this would be a chaotic. See, it's like, that's this thing. You think you're psychic and you start predicting things, then you're wrong. And you're like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. And you got to start from scratch. Make sure, like, that's the problem. But anyway, so I was like, oh, big day. He mentioned the Trinity. We were talking about the number 3 in my Discord. This was at 3 p.m. It's a date that's on a 3/11, and it's a 23. I was like, okay, let's see. You know, in my mind, if they were going to do something significant, the alien beings which rule over us and to whom we are slaves, they would do something. They would like they would use one of their bloodline to fuck shit up, you know, try to make a point. But so I don't see anything from this event. I have to be listening to this thing. They were like, CNN should cover it. That's what they were saying. I was listening to this podcast. All right, let's see what happened on. Oh, so more like Maitreya Buddha, who, please tell me if that's the laughing Buddha, but more like Maitreya Buddha, because that Buddha said you should be I think he said you should be a vegetarian, basically. I think that's what he said. I'm not sure. I don't know. I heard it probably, or it's in my memory, which doesn't exist. So it doesn't matter. It's all fake. I mean, everything, unfortunately. It feels real though, so don't forget about that. He said if somebody puts something in front of you, you should eat it, basically, no matter what. That's what he said. So it's very similar to what Jesus said there about the Sabbath. So yeah, he came here to rewrite the Jewish laws, and they didn't. And from what I understand, they broke their covenant. You know, those God's people. From what I understand, they've broken their covenant somehow. But the laws Noah said, those are still good enough, I think. It's just if you wanted the Messiah thing to work out the first time, then you would have to at least follow the Noahide laws, which nobody does on earth at this moment. It's funny. I might be the only one, or you know, it depends on if people understand them. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I am not special. I am like you, with some gifts, but curses too. But anyway, hopefully it all works out for the best. Maitreya Buddha, yeah. But anyway, it's very similar. So Jesus came and was like, basically, okay, sorry. Jesus came to change the rituals. Okay, because any occultist, because the rituals are so that you have a connection so you can establish a connection, a telepathic connection to the angel known as the Son of Man, who was created along with this universe and is perfect. Like if you want to do that and you're not from the bloodline of Jesus Christ, then you need to, it's best, I'm sorry, you don't need to. It's best if you perform the rituals, especially the blood and especially the blood. That's all. It's probably for the best if you, it's just because we need very strict rules. That's all, for us to behave ourselves. So if you want the best telepathic connection with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the spirit you know as Jesus Christ, who is known by other names. But just so you know who I am speaking of, it is the being, what I believe is the first son of our Father, the creator of this universe. Okay. So that's who I'm talking about. So I'll identify it as that. It may have other names. It may have appeared to people as other names. There are different cultures. That spirit, while I'm convinced that spirit did not incarnate here again. I'm fairly certain, but because their souls and Gabriel, Gabriel came after Jesus, and he's the messenger. So mostly messages from the Elohim come from Gabriel. So who came to Mary to tell her about the miraculous birth of Jesus Christ, the alien known to you as Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure that's the only time. But they come and update things. So that's what I was going to say. Maybe Muhammad came. So Jesus came here. There are a couple of things, basically, to change the rituals, to change the rules, just to change the rules. To be honest with you, to change, it might be easier to think of it as a simulation, because I've been told it is. So it might be easiest to think of it that way. There are rules that govern this simulation, and they are very strict and very specific, and they're meant to enforce the laws that our Father had to figure out for himself, that existed before anything, that existed in the cosmic void. The laws. So, and if I asked you to do anything, consider we've been shown to consider the suffering of Jesus Christ, to understand the suffering that comes with doing your very best to walk with God. Doing your very, very best to walk with God. There will be great suffering. And Jesus was meant to show us that. So, but otherwise, it was also to stop, so the Jews would stop worshiping the moon, and to worship the sun. It's important to worship the sun and not the moon. Okay? Apparently. If you want to make it easy on yourself. So, and that's all, if you want to make it easy on yourself, just follow the rules. And, read them to figure out for yourself what they mean. But if you want to make it easy, just follow the rules. The Jews used to worship both with their calendar and the way they kept time. Okay. Jesus Christ came here September 11th, according to somebody who analyzed some stuff. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense if you consider the coincidence of the events that have occurred on September 11th. In the solar calendar only. So if there was meant to be significance numerically for the birth of the Son of Man, whose spirit was used to create this universe. Oh, shit, I forgot what I was talking about. The Son. Right. I'm sorry. You say worship the Son, not the Son. Okay. The Son gives us life. It was the first thing. It creates everything. The Son literally made everything materialize, which was before that completely immaterial. Nothing can exist. I mean literally, nothing exists without the Son. Spell it any way you want, and it's true. It's the truth. Nothing in this universe is material if there is not light. According to quantum physics, I believe, once again, it's probably because of rituals. I'm sure it's because of rituals. I'm sure it's because of rituals that have to do with where the sun is. So if you want to just like forget about whatever, I'm sure it's about rituals. So the solar calendar ritual times apparently are better for the good, for if you want the good spirit, the Elohim spirit. That's all. I'm sure that's what it is. Because there are others, obviously, there are other very intelligent beings which know all the rules here, but might not understand a few of them. But they're very, very intelligent and may be able to do a lot of the same things that God can do, and maybe seem just like God. It might be super nice too. So, but yeah, it was to change the calendar. I'm pretty sure. Just because I've noticed about certain dates and the things that happen around them, do your own research. Do your own research, please. Because I may have seen significance because of my gift of autism. I see significance and patterns in many things which may not be significance and patterns at all. So do your own research. But like 420, 111 days, basically from the end of the 111 days before the end of the year and 111 days after the beginning of the year. I just noticed those two dates are super significant. Well, and a leap year, 420, which is super mathematically significant for no other reason. That's the very first number that's a natural number, which is divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's the very first one. And that is significant, highly divisible numbers. So 420. Anyway, I just noticed weird stuff. Like the Queen does something around 420, like 419 or something. She celebrates 2 birthdays. You could do some research on that. I think she celebrates 2 birthdays, one maybe for the sun and one for maybe something else. Because there's like the right-hand path and the left-hand path. There's like the number 12 and then there's the number 13. You know what I mean? That's what it's like. They're both there is significance to both, but they are different. So maybe it's like that. But yeah, just some theories I have. You don't want to be me. I'm telling you. I have too many thoughts. It's really annoying. Oh, let me finish telling you the story I was telling you earlier, though, which is that I was magically drawn in my memory, of course, which is unreliable. But I was drawn to this thing where I ended up talking to these people who are talking about the Mandela effect and history changing, which the Mandela effect, I don't want to trigger anyone. It's just that I experience it. That's all. I experience it, which doesn't mean it's real or not real or CERN did it or anybody did it. It's just that I remember things distinctly, differently, certain specific things, not all the things, certain specific things, like one of the things that people say is a Mandela effect. I consciously in my mind was like, oh, they changed the name. I saw an ad and I was like, oh, they changed the name. It must be something more modern. Basically, they changed the name. It's different. Like I remember I used the product before and I was like, it changed. But apparently it never changed. Apparently it never did. So I experienced it. That's all. Anyway, so they were talking about Mandela effect, changing history. We started talking about Trump. And then I showed him this book. And it was House of Orange. And then anyways, in my memory, someone posted on Twitter, Nathan Stoltman is from the House of Orange, like Donald Trump. That's my memory of it. So I have no idea though. Just that for some reason I was thinking of the Orange Age. That's all. That's the main reason. Without thinking about the number 33. I was thinking about the Orange Age because of Bitcoin. All right, okay, here's what we got. Trump, 2016, November 2016. Let's pull up a calendar. November 2016. Was there any significance? I don't even have I was going to go to, let me go. Supermoon calendar. That's what I need. Supermoon calendar 2016. All right, here we go. Let's see. I was really into supermoons. I was like, that must mean something. So I was thinking about the gravitational pull, which there must be, even if gravity is not exactly what we think, but there must be some pull to that object, that moon, which is different from the sun. So when it's a supermoon, that means it's as close as it gets. So this one, let's see. The biggest one was Wednesday, December 14th. But actually, let me see. Oh, actually, I have my supermoon calendar right here. I used to be really into this. Perigees and apogees. Here we go. I have looked at this page for eons. Sorry, I need to change the title. At the moment, it's rather deceptive. I apologize. I'll change it. What do you think I should call it? I'll change it. I can change it now if you want. I don't want people coming here and not getting what they want or what they expect necessarily, unless they think it's good. And then in which case, that's the reason. What do you think? Maybe someone might tune in, think and even though it's not chaos as promised, they might think it's interesting, possibly. What do you think? I could do either one. I may be Dutch, Pirate Justin. I might be Dutch. There are Stoltmans that come from the Netherlands. So I don't know. You said you'd pay for my DNA. I'll let you if you want to send it. I've never done it. But I don't think whatever I was shown about my bloodline, also being Jewish, technically, it may not be like reality. I'm not sure. I have the gifts from their bloodline. I just know that. I have the gifts that come from that bloodline that people recognize here. The very high IQ and the mental illness that they have, that they're known for having more than other people. So I have both of those gifts. Oh, and I was also born. I did look like the Elohim when I was born. I was born with blonde hair and blue eyes, like Donald Trump. So, which is the Elohim thing. But I may not technically, genetically. It may be everything's metaphorical. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know if there's really a guy called Noah on Earth. I'm not sure. I really am not sure. I know it's literally true because I've seen similar visions. I guess I got the vision that I guess I got the vision that Enoch got. I guess it's just dawning on me. But I guess I got the vision that Enoch got, that they describe, and that I guess I got the vision. Because except this time I didn't have any kids. So if they killed everyone but me, then I would be the only one left. So I'm not sure. That's the vision I got. I was the only one. And it was because of the bloodline. That was the problem in in that delusion I experienced. But I guess it's the same. I guess for some reason I was still there physically, and everything else had been wiped out by a flood. But it was clear that it was too late. It was clear that it was too late in the vision I received. But then I just negotiated for a brief reprieve, basically, to be honest. And so now I guess now we're talking it out, I guess. I don't know. 2016, please. How do I find that, please? This is this year. 2016, easy. Oops. And it was a weird experience, I remember, with those people, because they knew about where my family came from. They knew, like, my mother and father met there. That's like where our bloodline began. That's where this bloodline began, actually, was right there. That's where this particular one, where those houses came together. So it was really interesting. I said I saw the veil because I talked about something specifically with evidence, and then went to look later, and the video was taken down for copyright immediately, and that happened again later. And I was like, oh, I understand. I was like, I get it now. Like, there are you actually literally can't talk about certain things, or you'll be stopped. Kind of. You'll either be killed or something will stop you. Perigees and apogees. Let's see if I even remember it right. Why is it still in the year 2016, please? Calculate. Okay, excellent. November 27th. Okay, it was November 14th, 2016. All right, let's see if so there was a full moon and how do they do this? Perigee. There it is. Yes, that's it. You have to be able to understand the codes. Okay. So here we go. As far as the supermoon goes, the closest moon in 2016 was November 14th, 2 days from my birthday. That was the closest moon in 2016. And coincidentally, okay, this is actually a rare occurrence. They call it a supermoon when really they call it a supermoon 3 months in a row every year. That's how it works. It's when the moon is close. But actually one of them is really the closest. One of them is the closest. But it's rare for when the moon is the closest for it also to be full. That would be rare, right? If you thought about it, because they're in different cycles. One is whether it's full or how much sun is on it at night. And then the other one is how close it is to the earth. Well, according to this chart, it was exactly the same day, which is rare, I believe. Do your own research. I believe it's rare. It was the very closest it got in the entire year, the moon, and it was full. November 14th at 1:54 p.m. If you want to research it, I'll tell you what that you should research it, honestly. I haven't. I dismissed it. I thought Hillary Clinton would win because of something else about the cycle. So, and then I just didn't think about it, to be honest. I didn't like Donald Trump because we hate our own kind the most when we see them fucking up. It turns out. It's our own kind that we get most upset with when they do not behave because we know they can be better. That's all. So I was mad at Trump. I didn't like him. But after that bullet thing and everything else, he was just doing a lot better. And right now he's doing a lot better. He's doing a lot better. So people should recognize that. He's a different he is very different this time. Okay, so that was in 2016. And then as for the number 12, okay, this is what I did. It's very simple. I started counting in 12s. I had a revelation about the number 12 and started saying, oh, okay, well, let's count years in 12s. Like it'll be easier for people to figure out patterns. That's what I thought, my autistic gift. I was like, oh, maybe there are patterns that we could just like divine. If we use numbers better, like what if we use the number 12? Would new patterns emerge through history? This is what I thought. I had no idea. I wasn't religious or anything. I'm not religious. I'm an atheist. I'm a scientist, basically. That's how I came here. I'm a mathematician and a scientist. I happen to be an artist as well because I ended up I did acting, but primarily what I was designed for was to study. And so I was just looking at I just fascinated by numbers. That's all. I'm just always doing math in my head when my brain is working correctly. So if you take 12 instead of 10 and count the years the same way we count time, that's all. We already do it. Time, the way we count the day is perfect. It's absolutely 100% perfect. We use the best numbers available, 12, 30, and 60. And I talked about the significance of the number 420. 12, 30, and 60 are all unique numbers they're all unique in their progression towards 100 because they are all the most divisible numbers at their point. 12 being the first one, which is divisible by almost everything up to 6, except for 5. It's divisible by everything up to 6 except for 5, the number 12. Which compared to the number 10, it's only divisible by one number. So I don't know if you'll see my point, but the number 10 is literally divisible by, 2. That's the number we picked. Who picked that? I have no idea who wrote down this system. I don't know who created it. Why did we pick 10? It's so bad. Like people think they're so stupid, but they're really actually very intelligent if you make things easier for them. So that was my thought. I was like, okay, well, we do time perfect, the day perfect, 12, 30, 60. 12 divisible by everything but 5 up to 6. So let's pick 6. The numbers 1 through 6. 12 is divisible by every number except for 5 up to 6. 30 is divisible by every number except for 4, which is the most important number. But anyway, except for 4. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 60 is divisible by all of them, 1 to 6. So 60 makes math, if you're smart enough, if you are disciplined enough, when you are developing to learn that system. I don't think we can learn it in a way that would make us what I imagine people could be if they learned that way from the beginning. That's what I imagine. So if you take 12 and then you say, okay, we're using the number 12 to count years. If you do that, 12 times 12 is 144 years. So I was like, okay, fine. Let's do that. Why not? 144 year cycles starting from 0, starting from Jesus Christ. So 0, 144, 288. The year 2016 is when the last cycle ended. And that was 14 cycles, which happens to make it divisible by 7, which is the number of the Elohim is 7 and 11. I mean, it's like every number, honestly, but really it's like 7 and 11. Okay, I'm guessing. I don't know, but I think it's 7 and 11. So 2016, because it's divisible by 14, also happens to be divisible by the number 7. So what's up, Pandora? I better get off this topic. People are really freaking out, it looks like. I'll change topics. I see Discord. I will change topics. What's up? How are you guys doing? What else do you want to talk about? Anything else? Or am I overreacting? It's possible I'm overreacting. The Chaos Roundtable, nothing happened as far as I can tell. Oh, wow, it's so weird. Certain topics, like, yeah, I'll play you the remarks from the Business Roundtable. I apologize. I know that's what you came to see. So let's see. This is what they put up. I'll play the first, or here, it's an hour and 30 minutes. You want to watch the whole thing? I'll play it. I apologize. I don't see anyone engaged with what I was talking about. People told me they were interested in the cosmic prediction about Trump, which I just showed you, but it sounds like that was strange. So I won't do that. I'm going to have to have some coffee and I'm going to have some water. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. It's interesting system. If you break down the year into thirds, I just had these weird theories. There is some, like, I asked the AI. The AI was like, "Oh, there is a pattern." That's what the AI said. I was like, "Oh, I came up with this idea, and it works for the year 1872 to 2016." You know. Delicious. Yeah, the other year, the year 2/3 of the way through that cycle, the last cycle is 1968, which seems very significant. Some significant things happen, but you got to do your own research, to be honest. I'll play the first thing I see for the Business Roundtable. Let's see. It looked like it must have been uneventful based on my.
And he fought back, and it ended up that he ended up tripling his business, and it's today a much bigger business than it was before. And there are many examples of that, and maybe it's going to be that way with Elon. When I saw what was happening with this, the concerted effort by paid, I think they're paid agitators. And when I saw what was happening, I said, I want to buy a Tesla. And we just went to the front. He had 4 beautiful cars there. And I bought one in front of the press. It was a very public purchase. And they're beautiful and do a great job. Very good competitors with Mary and everybody else. He's done a great job. And he shouldn't be sacrificed or have to suffer because he wants to help government. It's not that he's a Republican, which he's, not strong. I mean, sometimes I'm not even sure what he is in terms of his philosophies, but he's a great guy. He's a patriot. He wants to see the country straightened out, and he's done a fantastic job with those. We've found massive fraud, abuse, waste, And we had many, many jobs where there was nobody working but getting a check. We had contracts that expired years ago, but they were continuously being paid. Probably, I'll bet you it's $500 billion, perhaps, if you add it up so far. And we're trying to get to $1 trillion. That's a big number. And he did have an ability to do something that a lot of people didn't think of. He'd come in with bigger ideas. We'd say, we want you to cut down the size of your agency by 2%. And we thought that was good. He came in, he said 80%. I said, what the hell's going on? 80%. And largely, I mean, we had to do it carefully, and we had some little hiccups, not big hiccups. But we saved a tremendous amount of money for the future. This is going into the future. And in some cases, it would be 80, and in some cases, it would be 5% or 2% or 3%, depending on the agency. And you can almost, you're all great professionals, the top, and you can almost look at some of the agencies and see which ones had to be cut and which ones didn't. Also, in terms of their importance and in terms of being current. So we saved a tremendous amount of money. And I think, I don't know if it's going to reach $1 trillion, but it's going to reach a lot. And it was an honor to have Michael there yesterday. You got to see a little bit of it. We had a conference. And a lot of investment coming into our country, much more than I've ever seen. Apple is investing $500 billion. IBM was with us yesterday, and they're investing a lot. Just companies all over. I could name them. You've read most of them, many of them. But hundreds of billions of dollars is being invested. That wouldn't have happened if I didn't win the election, number one. And I think, number two, the tariffs are having a tremendously positive impact. They will have, and they are having. We have car companies that are not building in Mexico now. They're building in the United States. Some of them, the plants were already started, and they stopped construction. And now they're going to build in the United States. It was very unfair. They'd build in Mexico, sell them across the border with no tax, no nothing. They'd take away our jobs. They'd close up places in Michigan and all over the country, and they'd build them in Mexico. In many cases, they were owned by China. Built in Mexico, owned by China. And that's all stopped now. They're all coming here. Honda is building a massive plant in different places, Indiana, South Carolina, but also in Michigan, a lot in Michigan. A lot of activity is happening. They're looking all over the place for places. And that's because there is a good spirit. There's a renewed spirit. And also, very importantly, the tariffs they don't want to pay 25% or whatever it may be. It may go up higher, Look, the higher it goes, the more likely it is they're going to build. And ultimately, the biggest win is not the tariff. That's a big win. That's a lot of money. But the biggest win is if they move into our country and produce jobs. That's a bigger win than the tariffs themselves. But the tariffs are going to be throwing off a lot of money to this country. And we've been ripped off for years by other countries, many, many decades. And they were doing the same thing. But I think we'll do it better. And I think we have a bigger advantage because we really are the piggy bank. They weren't.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've also mentioned rebuilding the American top priority. And I guess, what's your strategy to lower the overall cost of living, make everyday expenses more?
What is that? Like, you can't cover Donald Trump. What is this? Yeah, this is why nobody watches. This is Fox 5. Like, are they what's going on? You guys just get bored? Like, why did you post the video? Oh, okay, we're just gonna wander out, show everybody. That makes sense. That's real entertaining. Oh, that's excellent. There you go. He did say some important things. He said there's a renewed spirit. That's good. That's a good sign. And okay, Bitcoin, the orange age. You don't have to take my word for it. Do your own research. But everyone surrounding the administration the most closely, including the family, the actual blood relation to our Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, is look what they're doing with their money. And they're very wealthy. And just assume, like, imagine maybe they do know the future. That's probably the best thing to do. Imagine there are other beings that are here who are unaware. Just imagine that. And you need to find them desperately. Well, not desperately. Just actually not desperately. But if you notice that there's a human being who seems to know the future, who might even, just see what they're doing. That's all. Because if they know, then, and his whole family all has crypto, everything, apparently. That's all they talk about. So you don't have to be a psychic. Just pay attention. Let's see. RFK crypto. Let's see what the search brings up. Oh, and then I'll tell you about the Great Awakening, which came up according to the cycles in the Bible. So see if you find it interesting. So we are going to talk a little bit more about cycles, but they don't know they know the future. They may be completely, I mean, they're humans are not designed to access that part of their program here. That's all. They're not designed to do that naturally, I should say. They have to follow very strict rules. First, you have to follow extremely strict rules. Extremely. They are stupid, though. They are dumb. Like, why, like, why would any intelligent being think that it's a good idea for the long term to invest in Solana, XRP, and Cardano? Really? I mean, yes. I mean, they will over some term of time, over some term of time, maybe not a long term of time, but most likely over a short period of time, they will increase more than Bitcoin. And maybe he'll look like a genius. And that short period of time may last a long time. Solana, I mean, really could be a very significant project. But it has many competitors, and it's based on advanced technology. And technology continues to be updated through human ingenuity. So the only problem with everything other than Bitcoin is even Bitcoin a little bit, if you want to consider it a problem, because something else might in the future. It's theoretically possible that another thing like Bitcoin becomes more popular than Bitcoin in the future. So you can buy, like, if you want to buy Litecoin or Dogecoin or something else that's like Bitcoin, then that's fine. They all have the same characteristics. They all should increase in value as we print dollars, which we will when the economy crashes. When the economy crashes, believe me, like, I think I understand Donald Trump's personality from the things he said and the things he did during COVID, which is that if the economy crashes, he'll just start printing. He'll make sure you're taken care of, because he doesn't want people to blame it on him that people are suffering. So believe me. So where did he say, you know, do your own research, just take my word for it. Just take my word for it. RFK said he has most of his wealth, and he comes from obviously a very good bloodline. Obviously, Kennedy. He has all, and which means there's money attached to it, I believe. Usually they are elites. That is the tradition. The tradition is to mingle amongst elite bloodlines. That is the tradition. It may be they're trying something new, or, Jesus wasn't an elite. So, but Kennedy, he said he's got all his money in Bitcoin. That's what he said. I mean, I saw it. I can't find it now. You say after your research. I can take phone calls. Oh, I meant to tell you about it. Okay. I meant to tell you because I don't know what it is. There was something, it is interesting to me. In the Bible, there's a cycle established in the preceding the birth of Jesus Christ. There is a cycle established in the book of Matthew that led to the birth of Jesus Christ. So I was kind of interested in that cycle. Basically, that cycle, as defined in Matthew, is that there were 14 generations. It starts at David and ends 1,000 years later, almost exactly, with the birth of Christ. Okay, it fulfilled, which I believe should have shown. I believe it's laid out in Matthew so that the Elohim bloodline, the Jewish people, the Hebrews, would understand that would understand with their numbers, just with their numbers, that they have unique knowledge of at that time. Like the numbers that they understood were important should have shown them. This is a particular reason the creation is unhappy with that people, is that it should have shown them. It should have been very evident because of the timing in which it occurred. Because it was at exactly the right time. Exactly. According to the Bible, is that there was David, and then there was 14 generations, and then there was Abraham, and then there was 14 generations, and then there was the exile, the important 2/3 point of that cycle, and then 14 generations, and there was the Messiah, incarnated entirely, without, not a spirit that worked with a human, not a spirit that came to a human, a spirit who had a full human experience here on earth, including suffering and death, to ritually cleanse the earth. It was a ritual. So it was a ritual. It was a Jewish ritual. The scapegoat ritual was performed completely at exactly the right time. And like, we already count in tens. So it was 1,000. We don't know. It was 42 generations from David, who was maybe a Messiah or something. Apparently the gematria, they have gematria. They have a perfect line. They have an alien language. They have a language that's literally perfect all the time. Their language. It was given to them. It was given to them, that language. The gematria of David apparently is 14. I learned. So the gematria of David is apparently 14. So 14 generations, Abraham, 14 generations, exile, 14 generations, Messiah. If a generation is exactly 25 years, if you just use that, because it's hard to know exactly. But if it's 25 years, which is what the AI approximated, then 42 generations, this number that was established in the book of Matthew for the Jews who are obsessed with numbers for good reason, 42 generations after David came the Messiah. Then they stopped counting that calendar. Nobody continued counting the calendar from our Messiah, who probably had kids, like the human, not the spirit. The spirit left and went back to be beside God. He had the full human experience, including persecution, suffering, and complete human death, and then rose back to heaven. But the human survived. I believe. Do your own research. Do your own research on that. May have. There are conspiracy theories that he did and that his bloodline is very important. I've received revelation or delusion that that's true. So anyway, I was like, okay, well, let's put out a theory and say that every 14 generations from Jesus Christ, something important happens or somebody important is born. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, why don't we just continue the cycle of 14 generations? And that's why Trump arriving after 14 cycles on very close to a unique supermoon might be significant to some people, maybe not to you, but it might be significant. I think it is, considering what Trump represents for his people, for his race, from where he came from, for the creation, considering how important he is for the creation, it seems. So let's see. So anyway, I did that cycle. And 14 generations is apparently approximately 350 years. So it's very simple since we started at 0. So if you just go 0, 350, 700, 1750, and that would, let me think, hold on. See, I have to remember the significance. That means 1750 is 2/3 of the way through the cycle, the 1,000-year cycle that ends with the year 2100. Okay, which I speculated that 2/3 of the way through anything, but kind of from learning about photography and how you divide, how like if you put you learn in photography classes, which I don't know if, who the hell knows? Some people are gifted with photography. It's because there's like tricks to it that come naturally to to artistic minds. That's all. Some people are just really good. And some people have great Instagrams or whatever. They're just naturals because they see mathematics on the screen without realizing it. So like 2/3, so so an image that's good, usually it's like here or here, it's like 1/3 from either side. So anyway, 2/3. That one would be 2/3 of the way through the cycle that ends with the year 2100. The Great Awakening happened. Let's find out about it. I'll just read it. You want to hear my AI voice? That's what I'll do. Then I don't even have to work. That's my favorite. I was not prepared the first time that my creator came to me. I was not prepared. Believe me. But hopefully this time it's better. Here we go. So far, so good, though. Let's hear me talking to myself for after I'm dead. After I'm dead, I wanted to create, actually, it's kind of funny. I guess I've been thinking about subconsciously for a long time, the concept of eternal life. I was like, if you're an artist, then you do have, like you could say in reality, that if you're an artist and you're good and people continue to revisit your spirit here on earth, which is in your art, which is manifested through your art. If human beings which exist on earth continue to visit your art or, experience it, then your spirit is eternal here on earth. So anyway, that's why I started making videos. I was like, that's my legacy, but they deleted most of them. I better play my intro. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. The good news, hopefully. Hopefully it's good news. So yeah, I think I need to update my Twitter. I need new artwork, which will be created by a computer, which exists in my mind. No, it's a real computer. I'll come up with it. Don't you come up? Well, actually, if you feel inspired to come up with it, go ahead. But I'll probably come up with it because I love the art this AI makes. It's crazy. All right, listen to this. We're learning about, okay, here's what we're doing. I speculated that according to the Bible, there is a pattern established in time from David that continued in even if not in reality, even if Jesus died, even if, actually, that's what I should say. I speculated that even if Jesus actually died, which I don't think he did, but he certainly could have, but I doubt it. The human. Then there could be a bloodline, and because of the rituals. That's why you drink the blood. That's why you eat the body, so that you can at least temporarily. You've ritually see. That's why they do it. I was like, I really was mad about communion. I was like, we should not be drinking someone's blood. That's like a vampire. But now I understand the purpose for it. It's so that ritually you are taking the powers, the superpowers of Jesus Christ on ritually. You are becoming a part of his bloodline, basically. So even if you did not have children, I would speculate, okay, well, let's see. Every 14 generations is 350 years. So if this pattern holds true, then let me think, like based on Matthew and what happens in Matthew, it's David and then Abraham. I didn't see anybody born that was like Abraham necessarily. So maybe it wasn't like that, but who knows? 2/3 of the way through it is interesting. The Exodus before, okay, hold on. How many years? Let me ask. How many years from the creation of the world until Jesus? That's what I'm going to ask. How many years, according to the Bible, from the creation of the world to David and to Christ? Let's see. Oh, there's also the flood. I forgot about the flood. So it might start after the flood too. That certainly could, because that's when the new covenant, or that's when the new covenant was established by Noah's family. So it could start at the flood with Noah. I would think then the bloodline would start. Oh, I'm sorry. The bloodline has to start at Shem, not Noah. So maybe I'll ask it to, let me rephrase it. But I'll still see what the answer is for this one. Yeah, sorry. The bloodline comes from Shem, not just Noah. Otherwise, we'd all be Elohim. And we're not. Okay, I'm sorry. See, I don't remember everything. Okay, yeah, it is perfect. To be honest. Okay, here we go. This is it. It's the same cycle. See, this is it. It's like, it's the same cycle. From creation to David, who began, whom I guess might have been the Messiah or something. Maybe he was a Messiah also. Maybe a different spirit than the Son of Man. Perhaps a different spirit who incarnated here, perhaps known as David. So from creation, according to the Bible, which is obviously a metaphor in our reality. Obviously, it's metaphoric in our reality, but still. It was about 3,000 years. It was about approximately 3,000 years. So that should be easy to figure out. In fact, it was 3,108 years from creation to David. The Exodus, check this out. This is why I thought 2/3 was significant, because I had learned this. Even though when I asked the AI, they were like, where did you hear that? I honestly was like, I read that the Exodus occurred exactly 2/3 of the way through Jewish history. And Grok actually was like, oh, I don't know where you read that. Like, I have no idea. Maybe a rabbi told you. That's what Grok said, honestly. I was like, I heard the Exodus happened 2/3 of the way through the Jewish history. And he was like, okay, well, let me do some math. He was like, yeah, you're right. It happened almost exactly 2/3 of the way through. It happened, the Exodus from the creation to Exodus was the year 2668. I had read, okay, so check this out. So this is what's crazy. If you divided exactly, this is what I had read. If you divided 3,000 years exactly, which it was approximately, apparently, according to Grok, it was 3,108 years. If you divided 3,000 by 3, then 2/3 of the way through is the year 2666. Is that from the beginning of time, okay, from creation, was in the decimal system, the system that's prevalent here on Earth and was at that time too. It was exactly 3,000 years, and the year would be 2666. Grok says it happened on 2668. But so that's why I was like, oh, maybe the Jewish people think maybe this 2/3 thing makes sense. So from creation to David was 3,000 years, approximately 3,108 years, according to biblical scholars. By approximately 3,000 years to David. So that establishes a 3,000 year cycle. Now check this out. Check this out. Because, well, check it out and then do your own research. That established a 3,000 year cycle from creation to David. And I don't know anything about David, to be honest. I don't know anything about David at all. I don't know that character. I haven't researched it at all. I don't know anything. I don't know if he was a king. I don't know. But whatever David represented, he was important. It was 3,108 years. Then from David to Christ was, again, almost exactly 1,000 years, which you would think would be significant based on the fact that things happen in thirds, it seems like. So that would be 1/3 of the way through the 3,000 year cycle would be when Jesus showed up in 42 generations. So 42 generations is clearly important. It's from David to Jesus, 1,000 years, 1,050 years, if it's exactly 25 years. 1/3 of the way through. It wasn't Abraham, I guess. $430. No, the exile. No, that's not the way it's described in Matthew. That's not the way it's described in Matthew. In Matthew, the exile happens after 28 generations. 28 generations is when the exile happens. 42 generations is when the Messiah appears, the Son of Man. Since then, the big ones would be 1,000 years from Christ, the year 1050. So do your own research. I'm only talking about the Great Awakening. Anyway, 42 generations from Christ would have been the year 1050. Do some research and see if anything you can think of is particularly significant for the new covenant, the new church, the church of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. See if anything significant, like very significant, in the church of Christ occurred in the year, or in or around the year 1050, in or around 42 generations. 42 generations from the year 1050 would be the year 2100. So that's why it's like, that's why people maybe have millennium prophecies. Honestly, people have prophecies about the year 2000, right? Maybe it makes totally perfect sense that everyone thought the world was going to end in the year 2000 because approximately 1,000 year cycles were established in our history when major things happen, actually. So it kind of totally makes sense. And remember, Alex Jones was really pushing Y2K. Well, they were off by 100 years, approximately. They were off by about 100 years from the cosmic cycle established, which would be the year 2100 if it was exact. So that's and get pumped, because if the pattern holds, 2/3 of the way through would be the climax. And then the end of the age would be after 3,000 years. So you'll have to really work on it to be here for the next. But the next level, according to that scripture, would be the year 2100. Exactly, if it was exact. Might be a little later because people started having kids later, especially near the end. But so anyway, 1750 and the Great Awakening. I'm ready to just play that for you so we learn about it. We want to learn I want you to learn at least one thing today. I'd like you to learn at least one thing. So let's learn about the Great Awakening, which occurred exactly 2/3 of the way through the this current 1,000 or 42 generation. I should say 42 generation. It happened exactly 28 generations into this 42 generation cycle, which was the year 1750. The year 1750. Okay, so let's see. The Great Awakening. Let's see what it says. See if you get anything out of this. I'll show you the text too, so it's easy. And then see if you can figure out who's talking. Whether it's me or not me. See if you can tell the difference. Because I'm here off mic. I might stop it at any time and take over. Just to see if people can tell. I may stop it at any time and take over. Just be aware of that. So here we go. Let's see what we can find out. I may not play it at all. I might read the whole thing. I may decide to do that. I have no idea. Okay, let's see. Tell me about the Great Awakening around 1750. The Great Awakening, often referred to as the First Great Awakening, was a series of religious revivals that swept through the American colonies primarily between the 1730s and 1770s, with its peak around the 1740s and 1750s. It marked a significant shift in religious and social life, emphasizing personal faith, emotional engagement, and a direct relationship with God over institutional doctrine and ritual. Here's an overview based on historical understanding. Background. By the early 18th century, many colonists felt that established churches, such as the Congregationalists in New England and the Anglicans in the South, had grown formalistic and spiritually stagnant. Enlightenment ideas emphasizing reason were also gaining traction, which some religious leaders saw as a threat to traditional faith. The Great Awakening emerged as a response, revitalizing religious fervor among the colonists. Key figures. Jonathan Edwards, a preacher from Northampton, Massachusetts. Edwards is one of the most famous figures of the movement. His sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, 1741, vividly described human sinfulness and divine wrath, aiming to provoke repentance. He emphasized a new birth or personal conversion experience. George Whitefield. An English Anglican minister and charismatic evangelist, Whitefield was a major catalyst. Known for his theatrical preaching style, he toured the colonies extensively in the 1740s, drawing massive crowds, sometimes tens of thousands. His ability to connect emotionally with listeners transcended denominational lines. Gilbert Tennant. A Presbyterian minister, Tennant preached about the dangers of unconverted ministers, urging people to seek authentic spiritual leaders. His sermon, The Danger of an Unconverted Ministry, 1740, stirred controversy but fueled the revival. Characteristics. Emotional preaching. Unlike the dry intellectual sermons of the time, awakening preachers used vivid imagery and passionate delivery to stir guilt, fear, and ultimately hope for salvation. Mass gatherings. Revivals often took place outdoors due to the size of the crowds, breaking from traditional church settings, interdenominational appeal. The movement cut across Protestant denominations. Congregationalists, Presbyterians, Baptists, and Methodists all participated, though it also caused splits between new lights, revival supporters, and old lights, traditionalists. Focus on personal salvation. It stressed individual experience over church authority, encouraging people to examine their souls and seek a direct connection with God. Impact. Around 1750. By 1750, the Great Awakening had reached its height and was beginning to wane, though its effects lingered. It had profound social and cultural consequences. Religious diversity. The revivals boosted the growth of newer denominations like the Baptists and Methodists, challenging the dominance of established churches. Social leveling. The movement appealed to all classes, farmers, merchants, enslaved people, and women, fostering a sense of shared spiritual equality. This inclusivity planted seeds for later democratic ideals. Education. The fervor led to the founding of colleges to train ministers, such as Princeton, 1746, Dartmouth, 1769, and Brown, 1764, often by New Light supporters. Polarization. Communities and churches split between revivalists and their critics, creating lasting tensions. Broader significance. The Great Awakening is often seen as a precursor to the American Revolution. Its emphasis on individual conscience and questioning authority paralleled the political rhetoric of the 1760s and 1770s. It also laid groundwork for the Second Great Awakening in the early 19th century, which would further shape American religion and reform movements. Would you like me to dig deeper into any specific?
Well, you can tell it's not me if you've been listening to me, unfortunately. And actually, that reminds me, I'm going to be getting immediately, maybe today, actually. I'm going to go to Best Buy and see if they have anything good. I need to, should I go to Best Buy or have patience and get what I really want? Because they won't have the headphones I want. I'm trying to recapture ritually the spirit of the old show if I can, and get headphones that I can hear my voice in, because then I can modulate my voice better, probably.
And that's better. Communication is important to me. Here, listen to this. Sinners in the hands of an angry God. So that's my speculation, is that, so you'll have to do your own research and see how the Spirit moves you. And then we would speculate that there is something super, super important that's supposed to happen around the year 2100, depending on how generations go, depending on how the generations went, but assuming they're around 25 years. Birkin, you know what I did with those old headphones? See, this is perhaps when I actually destroyed. I probably actually ritually destroyed the spirit of of everything that happened before then. Probably, honestly. And that's how weird it is. I really probably ritually destroyed the part of the original show, because I destroyed them with a power saw. Because in my memory, when I bought those headphones, they had something called a forever guarantee. Okay, in my memory, which is probably true. They had something called a forever guarantee. And they were like, if you ever want new headphones, you must destroy. This is what I remember. Who the hell knows? I'm so crazy. But I remember that was the guarantee. It was like, you must destroy the old pair and send us proof. That's what it said, honestly, in my memory. Forever guarantee, but that means like you can't use them anymore. I guess that's it. It's like you can't just keep the old pair that are kind of worn out. You really have to want new ones only, I guess. So yeah, I destroyed them. I was out of my mind. But then they didn't honor the thing. And I bought these really expensive Apple headphones because I really needed, but I just really wanted a nice, one of the things I was bothered by is I could not afford a new set of Bluetooth headphones. I really like to listen to music. So I ended up, when I just went nuts, I ended up opening up a credit line or something with Apple. And I got the Apple ones, which are fantastic, which I thought would work, but they don't. So I need to buy myself a new set. I just need to. They're not that expensive. So the ones I like, the V Modas, those are the ones I like. V Moda. But I think I threw them away and stuff. You know what? It's just, I was really pissed off at the time. I just wasn't making any money and stuff. And I was like, oh, look at these headphones. They're a part of the show. And like, nobody cared. And I was like, really? I was like, okay, well, that's fine. And so I destroyed them pretty much. I think with that, destroyed the spirit of the original show in a ritual fashion, kind of. Which is why I think the show kind of just sucked. I think the show really sucked ever since. I know it definitely sucked ever since May 22nd, 2023. So I hope it's a lot better now. I hope it's a lot better. Let me play you this sermon that apparently was really famous, because maybe a person in the bloodline manifested at that time. Maybe some important Jesus-like figure with a new update came at that time. So let's see. I'm going to listen to this thing. It's called Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. Okay. Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. Let's see what that is. This is about the Great Awakening. Oh, hold on. Okay. I'm going to be ready. Share this tab. But I just pray it's better now. If it seems better, but I know that it's unusual. I know it's unusual.
Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God by Jonathan Edwards. We find it easy to tread on and crush a worm that we see crawling on the earth. So 'tis easy for us to cut or singe a slender thread that anything hangs by. Thus easy is it for God when he pleases to cast his enemies down to hell. They are now the objects of that very same anger and wrath of God that is expressed in the torments of hell. And the reason why they don't go down to hell at each moment is not because God, in whose power they are, is not then very angry with them, as angry as he is with many of those miserable creatures that he is now tormenting in hell, and do there feel and bear the fierceness of his wrath. Yea, God is a great deal more angry with great numbers that are now on earth, yea, doubtless with many that are now in this congregation, that it may be are at ease and quiet, than he is with many of those that are now in the flames of hell. Unconverted men walk over the pit of hell on a rotten covering, and there are innumerable places in this covering so weak that they won't bear their weight, and these places are not seen. The arrows of death fly unseen at noonday. The sharpest sight can't discern them. God has so many different unsearchable ways of taking wicked men out of the world and sending them to hell that there is nothing to make it appear that God had need to be at the expense of a miracle or go out of the ordinary course of his providence to destroy any wicked man at any moment. So that thus it is that natural men are held in the hand of God over the pit of hell. They have deserved the fiery pit and are already sentenced to it, and God is dreadfully provoked. His anger is as great towards them as to those that are actually suffering the executions of the fierceness of his wrath in hell, and they have done nothing in the least to appease or abate that anger. Neither is God in the least bound by any promise to hold him up one moment. The devil is waiting for them. Hell is gaping for them. The flames gather and flash about them and would fain lay hold on them and swallow them up. The fire pent up in their own hearts is struggling to break out, and they have no interest in any mediator. There are no means within reach that can be any security to them. In short, they have no refuge, nothing to take hold of. The bow of God's wrath is bent, and the arrow made ready on the string, and justice bends the arrow at your heart and strains the bow. And it is nothing but the mere pleasure of God, and that of an angry God, without any promise or obligation at all, that keeps the arrow one moment from being made drunk with your blood. Thus are all you that never passed under a great change of heart, by the mighty power of the Spirit of God upon your souls. All that were never born again and made new creatures, and raised from being dead in sin to a state of new, and before altogether unexperienced light and life. However, you may have reformed your life in many things, and may have had religious affections, and may keep up a form of religion in your families and closets, and in the house of God, and may be strict in it, you are thus in the hands of an angry God. 'Tis nothing but his mere pleasure that keeps you from being this moment swallowed up in everlasting destruction. The God that holds you over the pit of hell, much as one holds a spider or some loathsome insect over the fire, abhors you and is dreadfully provoked. His wrath towards you burns like fire. He looks upon you as worthy of nothing else but to be cast into the fire. He is of purer eyes than to bear to have you in his sight. You are 10,000 times so abominable in his eyes as the most hateful, venomous serpent is in ours. You have offended him infinitely more than ever a stubborn rebel did his prince. And yet
More.
'tis nothing but his hand that holds you from falling in.
I'll stop there. Sorry. I'll stop there. Phone's open. I'm going to post a link to this thing. Once in a while, somebody has to come here and tell you how pissed off everybody is at you. Jesus, especially. But the creator, like once in a while, somebody comes here to tell you about that. It's just different messages at different times, depending on what we need, I guess. It's just time is so weird, and like what people are ready for or need is so weird at any given time. When Jesus manifested here, when the Son of Man came here from outer space, it was a messianic age. There were many messiahs. And everybody predicted that one was coming soon. Everyone, even the Jews. So ever since then, Jesus, the Son of Man, who sits next to his first son, created at the same time as this perfect thing we live in, they've been extremely upset. They are very my issue, which I think I've recently helped keep in order better, is my anger, which comes from my bloodline, and it's uncontrollable. If I'm not in very good condition. Not uncontrollable. I don't do anything crazy, but I do get very angry sometimes. I just had to quit playing sports. That's all. And if my mind, my perfect mind, the one that I don't know how to use, if my perfect mind is the same, it comes from the Creator and the kind of, I guess, the co-creator of this universe, established with his coming. They've been watching ever since, and they're angry, just like you would be. If you had to come here and experience this and be perfect, everybody hates you, and then you take on all the sin. You do you have a ritual performed on you. You get all the sin of all the people in the world and experience all that trauma, all the trauma you get to experience. I mean, that's the thing. His physical suffering wasn't bad. It really wasn't that bad. Many people have suffered worse. Many people have suffered much worse physically, much, much worse. I mean, to be fair, physically than Jesus Christ did, according to the Gospels. I mean, he wasn't like ritually raped as a child, you know what I mean? Like that would be worse in my consideration, as far as like a physical things happening in 3D. He could have been raped since he was a baby or born into a satanic bloodline. That would have been a lot worse for him. He wasn't, but he did experience it because of all of the sin, which he had to telepathically he had to actually he had to actually take on and consider the sin of the entire world, which is really why he suffered. That creates the most suffering. When you contemplate deeply, very, very deeply, the nature of everything, then you can feel the suffering that's happened here since the beginning, and it is incredibly bad. So he suffered a great deal. But anyway, he was ritually sacrificed. He had to think he died. The actual alien that it was here, and went back to heaven. Didn't even know he didn't die. Because you can't kill someone who's perfect. A human being cannot. It's impossible. And I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'm like literally happy to be proven wrong. But the gospel or even everything else written about every faithful person, every other story written. I'm sorry, I won't say that because I'm unsure. I'm uncertain. The stories I remember reading about people who had great faith and walked with God is that they were able to survive death miraculously. And Jesus Christ, at the very end, he said, "Why have you forsaken me?" Which may have been related to something that people would understand, but maybe he really didn't. Maybe he really got confused at the last moment because he experienced death. He thought he died. And maybe he didn't think it was going to happen if he followed all the laws, which he did his whole life. According to God, the original law, you obey and you live. The original law, obey and live. The original law to Adam and Eve, obey and live. He did perfectly. And he died anyway? That's not the covenant. That's not the covenant established in the Garden of Eden. That is not. So that's why I'm disinclined to believe it. And I find it to be an unfortunate. That's what you do, Like you need to get tired. That's how you die from crucifixion. You need to be there on like 3 days and get so tired that you can no longer support your own weight. That's how you die from crucifixion. You hang out there for a long time for everybody to see you suffer. You don't die in a few hours. It would be unprecedented. So phone's open. But the being that incarnated here went back to heaven and died. It's just that the human being who is also perfect continued and was from the good bloodline and was a perfect being. So it did not need telepathic intervention. Like he came here with a telepathic connection to his creator. He came here perfect, literally knowing everything. The human being continued, most likely, and the blood most likely continued. Most likely it did. And the blood, they told us, is super important. The phones are open. What should I title this thing? Or I'm going to drop a link to I'm going to do an invite link right now so you can join on StreamYards. That's going to be preferred for the audio quality is StreamYards. And also it's free for everybody on Earth, which is kind of, I realize like there's people in the UK. So some people don't like to call because it's long distance. And then let's see. Ricky, thank you. Work on it. I'm probably getting them. Have you heard of collective consciousness before? It's just like that's all it is. It's a human concept. It's a human concept. Yeah, don't listen to me. It's like, like inventions. It just so happens a few people thought of something completely novel at exactly the same time. It's like that, basically. And that's happened many times throughout history. It usually wasn't only one person. It usually wasn't just one person on Earth who had the idea. Usually it was more than one. There was somebody who was first, but someone somewhere else in the world happened to be thinking about exactly the same thing, working on exactly the same thing at the same time. It's just the way that's all I'm talking about. Collective consciousness. It just means that when one of us learns something, it's added to the global consciousness. So it's there. Like we're telepathic. That's all. We are telepathic beings. Completely unaware of that ability. That's all. We actually are. And our races, and we're more closely telepathically related to the race we spawned from, which in my case I believe is the Elohim bloodline. That's all. Based on the gifts I have, and the people that talk, and the entities I've been speaking with. the entities I've been speaking with have been exclusively identified as that. So I posted the thing, and I'm going to pin it this time. Pin. How do I fucking pin it? Do I click on it? Pin. There you go. Okay, I've fulfilled my obligations here. Phone's open. I'm going to look at the chat and discuss nothing. That cognitive dissonant? It appears so. It certainly appears so. Yeah. It appears so. We're here, like, actually, as a matter of fact, like, God is learning. He's learning through us. This very advanced simulation is designed because he learned how to procreate by creating avatars of himself. He has a schizophrenic mind because he's everything. He's literally everything a human could possibly be, to the extreme. Basically, he's everything a human could be. A mind, a consciousness, only a mind, only a consciousness. At least on most, on every level except for this one, and most likely this one too. He is a conscious, he is simply a mind, just like us, exactly like us. But he created this, he's learning. We're all learning. We're learning for them. As above, so below, on earth as it is in heaven. There is nothing here that happens that does not happen in some form, metaphorically, on every other level of every other plane of existence. Every other plane of existence is there. What's happening here is happening there in some form. Okay. And all of us beings seek to advance. We all seek to evolve. We seek to evolve. And the other levels are not, there is no such thing as time on the other levels. So this creation, along with the veil, which is absolutely necessary at this time. This simulation created the only experience where someone could have experienced something that feels something like eternity. It feels like a passage of time where there's an expiration date. This is the only realm. There are most likely, since the creation of this, there have likely been other creations that exist outside of this universe. There are the multiverse, like quantum physics. Likely every single possibility through time is also happening in an infinite number of alternative dimensions, just alternative universes. That's what quantum physics says. Oh, thanks, Casey. That's good. Teddy, that's good. Dry sidey. Yeah, you're not supposed to like the original creation, we were not supposed to learn about medicines. We were just supposed to do what came naturally in the original creation. We were just supposed to do whatever we want, whatever came naturally based on our DNA, our program, based on the program we were created with. We were supposed to just follow the program that created us, which is extraordinary. And we do. We are forced to. Whatever is necessary for our soul, we will experience at the appropriate times through intervention if necessary. Through intervention if necessary. If you are not somehow telepathically drawn to do the things you're supposed to do, then there will be intervention. It could be somebody telling you something and somebody running into you, getting lost, whatever it is. You will be brought into the appropriate time. Just like you were programmed, just like your program says. You'll do exactly what you're supposed to do. Just don't, you know what I mean? Cool. People are drinking. Yeah, the things materialize. See, this is the thing. This is what happens to me, and why I do not recommend. I honestly, somebody asked me the other day again, you should take your meds. The guy said, you should take your meds. I was like, seriously, dude. And actually deleted his comment after I answered him. So, which is kind of actually nice, because I was like, no, I take them every day. But I am having, I'm just having extraordinary experiences in my mind. That's all. So, which previously, before I did the work required to get to this point, previously I had to be, I understand the question. Previously, in order to have access to certain things, or to have, I most likely, while taking that medication, will not have any out of body, full, complete delusions, most likely, in which I believe I'm speaking directly with the creator in several examples. In my memory, besides the flood vision, I could tell it wasn't real. But the other ones, they were real. They were real. They were real to me. 100%. The other experiences, I would be watching a video on YouTube, for example, and I would see something that I don't think happened, or certainly there's no evidence. I believe, I'm sure there's no evidence of it. I'm positive. But to me, it was totally real. I saw things that must have taken place in the future. I guess at least one thing I remember must have been a vision of the future. It was somebody. It was a spirit it was a person here on Earth, a human that I'm familiar with, who was walking down the aisle and was talking to me, and was very ill, and was complaining, and was saying that what I was doing, like I needed to think about what I was doing, because like it sucks being old or something like that. He was walking down he was like buying drugs he needed to take or something, like supplements, and he was like miserable. And he was like complaining to me. He was like, "Oh my God, this sucks." That's one vision I had. But that individual, as far as I know, is walking around not healthy, not healthy at all by all appearances, but not like I saw, not like the vision, not like what I thought I saw on the Hoax Wars show. I don't think it happened, but in my memory, Hoax Wars was like, "Oh, here, check this out. He wants to talk to you." That was what happened in my memory, but it wasn't real. I don't think. Pantera. Yeah, I'm not advising anyone. Oh, you're asking someone in the chat, perhaps. Oh, I see. It's about mental health meds. Yeah. Certain people here, you'll notice it in the chat. I'm going to have to ignore a number of things because there are spirits that hate me and want to kill me. Okay? I know that. There are spirits that hate me and want to kill me. And I don't know who's watching the show, but if people like think I'm weird or start telling me stuff, well, I feel great. My life has never been better. The way I feel, and in reality, I'm totally secure, and I'm not, and my relationships are excellent right now. Everything's the best it's ever been in my life, in my material life, which I wanted to die. Okay. I made a deal with imaginary aliens. With imaginary aliens, I made a deal that I was willing to die at any time. And it could be a violent and terrible death because I was sick of being here. It sucks. In a lot of ways, it really sucks here because of the way the program was designed. It's designed to not, it's designed, it's the only place where suffering happens. On other planes, they don't suffer at all. They don't know suffering because there's no time. They know the future. They're certain of the future. A lot of people came here to tell you to be certain about your future, but nobody understands. Yeah, top feed cocoa. I mean, cocaine comes from a natural place. So, and at least coca leaves cannot be bad. They can't be that bad. I mean, they should not. At least coca leaves or growing coca should not be illegal. It's a tradition of people who live in high altitudes because it helps. People who live in high altitudes, the cocaine or the coca, what's the active ingredient in the coca leaf helps them. It's like medical. To be honest, like, yeah. And if it's really, really good, if it's really pure, which is why I stopped doing cocaine, because you just couldn't get good cocaine anymore. Where in Los Angeles, at least I couldn't, given my circles. So that's why I quit doing coke. I was like, the product was awful. It's always stepped on. And then when it's good, then the guy sells out immediately because everybody realizes they're like, oh, he's got the good stuff this time. And they're like, but Pantera, could it be that the Bible is really the name of an alien? No aliens I've heard of come to mind. Bible should mean something else. Bible should mean something like good book or laws or regulations or something like that. Bible should mean something like that, or God's word, or it should mean something. I have no idea. Do you want me to ask? I'll ask. But no, it has to mean the right thing. What is the etymology of the word Bible? Oh, if you guys want to support the show, that's fine. I haven't really been getting a super chat. Oh, no. I shouldn't even say that. Some people have been leaving me some nice super chats, and people been buying coffees. So I appreciate it. Bible is from Greek, and it means scroll. It just means scroll. Actually, small book. It could mean small book or scroll. And eventually it just meant book. That makes sense. Book. It's like the government. Simple, understandable. This is a book. Some people probably learned something. 77 people tuned in. That's good. You don't want to know, like, I don't even want to tell you. Oh, but like I said, like, because most likely I completely forget because I'm kind of in a trance. And sometimes because of that, I forget completely. Maybe like where I am, for example, like I was walking home and, I knew I was turning and I looked up and I was lost. And it took me a while to figure out where I was. I had to look at the street signs and really think about it. I was like, I don't know where I was, like, I was really confused. And this time with things that's how things materialize, is I was going to grab a Monster today because the reason I've lost so much weight, I believe, is because psychic energy, it takes a lot of energy. It does actually use a lot of energy to work on a psychic. If you're trying to do things that require psychic energy, it does use a lot of energy. So I was going to have a Monster, and then as I'm coming to the show, I look down and this bottle is on the floor right in front of my shoes where I'm looking, and it's right there full and it's cold. And I have no idea how it got there. I have no clue. It's like, why? I was like, I was going to have a Monster. And then I was like, and then this water appeared and I was like, oh, I guess I better just have water. Because really the Mormons the Mormons do it the way you're supposed to. That's why. No, Teddy, I wasn't stoned. It's just because I'm so deep in contemplation. That's the issue. So as a matter of fact, I really, it's probably, I've been totally safe with everything I do, to be honest. I've been totally safe. I have no issues. I've been practicing for a long time. I've been practicing being in trance for a long time to make sure that I don't do something bad for me or someone else. I've been testing it for a long time before I really committed to it, to turning my life over to the Creator, like my entire life, basically over to the Creator. I had before to Jesus Christ. But before I did that, when I noticed my body was being manipulated, I noticed that my body was being manipulated by something other than my conscious mind, something totally other than my conscious mind. That's what I noticed. And I noticed other things. And so I started practicing, but I tested it. I tested it and 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 made sure that it was safe. I made sure that it was safe before I signed any contracts. I made sure the program worked the way it was supposed to work. So Cognitive dissonant? No, I'm at home. Everything's great. Why would I be in a halfway house? Why would you even think that? Based on you can see me and I'm home. Why would that thought come into your mind? Did you think do you remember me getting arrested or something? I don't do anything. I play pickleball. I walk to the coffee shop. I'm in my house talking to myself sometimes. The phones are open. I'm answering your questions. I'm explaining things to you that happened in my life so that you can understand why I'm like this. Because you seem concerned. That's all. I'm just trying to explain so you're not concerned. That's what I've been trying to do. Because there's no material reason for anyone to be concerned about my well-being. You'd have to be insane to think that there's anything, or just not have done any research. I talk about my life every day. I'm not taking drugs. I explain it every day so that people are not concerned for my well-being. Scary, I can understand. Scary? Yeah, you don't know what I've been through. Andy, you should be scared. To be honest. Implication frightening of the Hey, you're on the air. It's not working. Can you hear the phone?
Hello?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Hey, it's Sounded Voices.
Hey, what's up, dude? Nice to hear from you.
Hey, right. That's me in the chat, Pantera. I just really, I had to call because I really been enjoying what you've been talking about and what you've been bringing to the table. I think it's huge because, I've been experiencing a lot of the exact same things that you've been experiencing, and I've been, kind of testing it myself. Like, are these things just my imagination, or am I going crazy, or are these things really real? Like if I'm thinking of something, for instance, a thought might pop in my head, and then I might hear it right on the radio, or as soon as I'm thinking about it, or if I'm having a conversation with somebody or thinking about something, and I need an answer to something right away through some sort of consciousness, some sort of message. I'm getting that too.
Okay.
So I think you're having a lot of the same.
Great.
I think you're having a lot of the same stuff happening to me, and I think it's great. I don't know who these haters are, who these people are, that want to, God, like right now, I think we're all kind of trying to make sense of all this, and like you've discussed it about how certain people might not reach a certain type of level to whatever this is until they're ready to, like you said, I don't know what level I'm at. I don't even know if there are levels to this thing. I do know that it is happening, and I do know that I'm not crazy, and I do know that you're not crazy, and I do know that we're on a path forward that's going to be beneficial to so many people. I think that there's been some stuff that's happened over the past couple hundred years. Bad actors, people that, wanted to control information or have things work out the way that they saw fit, have manipulated information, have manipulated a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard this thing about the frequency on how when we tune instruments, we tune them at like 432 megahertz or whatever it is?
Yeah, and I'm thinking of 440 for some reason. There are different people who say it's slightly different, right? But 432 is one of them.
Well, this is what I heard last night. I heard that it was changed to 440 to because 432 is supposed to be perfect. The Rockefellers.
What is,
changed
I'm
it to
sorry, one moment. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. I understand. The number that was established by a human before was that it was 432 and it was supposed to be perfect. I understand. Uh-huh. Well, let's see.
And then
Uh-huh.
and then it was changed to 440 by the Rockefellers.
Those numbers are better. I mean, 4, and that is, and those numbers are better as far as numbers go. The 432 adds up to 9, which is a particularly problematic number in some ways. But 44 is the year that I received my revelations. That year, in the year 2023, which was divisible by 7, and also, also adds up to 7, the year 2023, and contains the number 23. That year, I was 44 years old, and my father was 78 years old. For some reason, I was just looking at things. Well, probably because I was off my meds. And that year, 2023, I was 44. My dad was 78. He was born in 1944, and I was born in 1978. So it was like a very unique experience that almost probably never happens for anyone else. It would be incredibly rare for that to occur in someone's lifetime. So 44, and I was given a vision of the apocalypse, full blown out body vision, speaking directly to the creator of this universe.
When?
Around the beginning of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I went through actual hell, which is why when people want me to take more meds, like I take them every day, but I want to take my medication. Like, for people who are worried about me, I take it religiously. It is a devotion every single day. Sometimes I forget because of the way I'm operating, because of the whole trance thing and kind of trying to, live in the moment. You might as well just say it that way. Sometimes I forget and go to bed, but I always remember, but yeah, in 2023, I there was like a mix up, and I stopped taking them. I felt better at first. When I stopped taking them, I felt better in almost every aspect. Everything was going great. I didn't feel depressed. That was the main thing. The medication, I was incredibly depressed. I've been suicidal. I was suicidal almost every day I was working. I wanted to walk into traffic every day. I wanted to die immediately. And so that was the year 2023 for me. But yeah, it was approximately between March and July and August, perhaps March and September, maybe. I'm not sure, until they put me back on medication, which made me, they put me on medication that made me suicidal. And because my dad said I was being nice and he never wanted me to stop taking my medication, so he would never experience what they had to go through, the people who loved me in that year. I took a medication that made me 100% suicidal from the moment I woke up every day. And so I switched. Fortunately, I switched. I was like, you know what? Maybe the medication is the thing making me suicidal. I switched back to my old medication, which fortunately kind of fixed the problem. So I wasn't, at least when I started to, but now I feel 100%. I'm 99%. We'll say nothing's ever 100%. We'll say I feel 99% right now, and the future looks good for me. But yeah, I went through an experience Well, first of all, I agreed. I made a pact with the spirits that were speaking with me,
Mhm.
to take on. I for some reason I said I was willing to take on all suffering so that no one ever had to suffer. Like that's what the deal I made. I was like, I will suffer so no one ever has to. And unfortunately, I learned what that meant. Unfortunately, and after that experience, I even though that experience told me that my bloodline was the important part, and that the reason that the earth was going to be destroyed was that my bloodline was well, Katie's is equally important. My wife's is equally important. So I don't want to just, it's not just me. There's also my wife. So, but that's what I was shown. And even though I was shown that and kind of negotiated a reprieve with the creator, I did not want to pass down these gifts that I have, which are like the Jewish gifts, which is the high IQ and the schizophrenia, which I'm not diagnosed with. I'm bipolar. But I have experience. If you have a full blown delusion, which only happened to you and not anyone else, then that's what they call schizophrenia. So I have the gifts given to the good bloodline, which is, you find in the Jewish bloodline, of high IQ and mental illness. And it's not just, I'm also like bad ADHD, autism, all these things. So I did not want, basically, I did not want anyone, any human being, period, to suffer, to understand the lessons that I had to learn during that time. A time they called boot camp. Now they're calling it they call it boot camp. Where I was doing many of the same practices, but my anger and the other emotions that came from the spirit. Anyway, I mean, it fucked up my whole life. Fucked up my whole life. Because Katie is also from my because Katie also shares my bloodline. She protected me during that time, even though she hated me and I was terrible and I deserved it. In the end, she made sure that I was okay. So
yeah,
you know what I mean?
she loves, yeah,
So,
she loves you, man.
Yeah. I mean, we're going our own separate ways, which I knew in 2023 was going to be the case. We are, ritually separating at this time. It's just I need it still can be like, but not immediately necessarily. But on the other hand, like being alone is really good. I really enjoy being alone, because then if I'm a little strange, then it doesn't bother anyone. My wife, my behavior really irritated my wife.
You're more than a little strange. You're a lot of strange, but that's okay.
That's the thing. So I'm not easy to live with, because it's like, a normal person looks at me as like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? So that's why I may move out sooner, but as of this time, I'm supporting the like I'm helping out basically by being here, because we have a lease until July. Yeah. So I'm at least here until July. So, and then we'll just see how things go. If everything's great, then just have to see what happens. It's just that I can't it's because the problem is like I feel things that other people don't feel, and which means I feel emotions. I feel them physically. And so negative emotions actually are anger. If it's just at me or for a brief moment, it doesn't linger. If it's just like me being mad at myself because I missed a shot in pickleball, it doesn't linger. but conflict with another person, it lingers for a very long time, pretty much usually the whole day. I can't, like, I have, you know.
I'm so glad you're talking about this because I've been experiencing the same issues with anger. And I was listening to you earlier and you were saying, I keep getting and I get angry and I have no way out of it, you know, and that's been happening to me lately. I get I get into this zone of anger and I'm like, I don't want to be here, but I can't get out of it. And I can't not stop being angry. And I talked to somebody about that. He said, you know, when we focus, you know, what happens is usually you're feeling a bad feeling and then you're focusing right on that bad feeling and you're going to think about it and manifest it and think of all the other ways that this person hurt you a year ago, 6 months, you know. And he actually showed me an exercise. He said, do this thing with me. He goes, walk around your house here for the next hour and a half and look at everything that's red inside of your house, right? So I walked around the house, I found everything that was red. And then he goes, okay, tell me what it was. Close your eyes, and I told him all these things, 10, 15 different things that I seen that were red. And he goes, now close your eyes and tell me everything that you saw that was yellow.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what? I was like, I can't think of anything. I was able to think of like one thing. He goes, because you were focused on everything that was red. You weren't focused on the yellow things, but there are many yellow things here in your house, but you were only able to think of one because you weren't focused on it. So that just it made sense to me. I'm like, you know what? It kind of helps me to kind of break my train of thinking a little bit. And I'm like, I just start counting different colors that are in the room. I'm like, okay, that's orange. That one's there, orange, you know. And so it's sort of kind of calmed me down, if nothing else.
That's good exercise. That's a good exercise. You know, it's like anything you can do to quiet your mind, so that you're not consciously thinking about or dwelling on things like we do, you know, so you're not neurotic, basically. You don't want, that's another gift given to the chosen people. They're neurotic as hell. My pickleball partner today, this lady, I don't know if she was Jewish, but she was she everything had happened. Like she had done something wrong or something was wrong. It was crazy. I was like, we're going to win, you know, all this stuff. And she was like, so some people are like that. It's really,
yeah, we're hard on ourselves. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you want to tell me your given name, or it's okay because don't dox yourself, but just curious.
My given name is David.
Oh, okay. That's a good name.
Yeah. My mom gave me the name after, she named my brother Rich because of King Richard, and she named me after David, of the story of David and Goliath. So that was my.
Oh, really? For that David, not the not the Messiah or whatever that particular. Okay, got it. But there's this. But there is like there's like a vibrational significance to it, so it is important.
Yeah, it's more like there was a King David, right, from Solomon's temple. Right?
That's the most important Jew in history. He began the timeline. It seems like.
Yeah. So, but no. So it wasn't named. It was just from this story of David and Goliath.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Which I think a little bit cooler anyway, right?
That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just wanted to call, man, because I'm here to support you because I got a lot of the same stuff happening to me, and I think you're doing great. I think you have a conscious contact with a higher power, and not many people can say that, you know. And as long as you maintain that relationship, I think, and I do the same, we're good, man. We just got to keep on rolling with the punches.
Thank you for the affirmation. That's much appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, I'm actually at work myself, so I'm an elementary school custodian. I don't know if I ever told you that.
Okay, that's good. You're driven. You like to serve. You like to serve, basically, which is good. Others, like you like to serve others, do things for others. That's a good starting point.
Well, I didn't plan on ever being a custodian, but I'm rich in a lot of other different ways other than, financially, like you said. If I'm able to give and help, and give of myself, these things come back to us,
Yeah, exactly. So that's great, man. Great to hear from you, David. And thank you very much for the affirmation. It is helpful. It is helpful to have something other than my imaginary guides telling me I'm doing a good job. It's also helpful for people I care about to also say that we're on the right path. So I appreciate that. That's very helpful.
Absolutely, man. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay. See you.
Yeah. I have unusual experiences all the time, but today was particularly nice. Like, it was a very, very nice day. Like, I passed a few people on the street. One guy winked at me like he knew something. You know what I mean? You know how that happens? Like, this guy winked at me, and then another guy, like, he gave me this look. You know what I mean? Like he knew what was going on. It was really weird. The numbers, like, I saw 33. I only looked at a few license plates. They were almost all 33. One of them was 111, a particularly interesting moment. But that's my life every day. To you, it would actually be very disturbing, because you would realize the unreality of this existence if you were paying attention. It can be, the consequences are incredibly disturbing. So that person who said they're scared, it's for very, very, very good reason. So that was a good call, David. Yeah, I met. I went to ritual. Like, rituals are important. Because I started doing them without thinking about them. Certain times of the day, I would just do the same thing, even though I was trying to, stay in the flow state, but also it was logic. It made sense. I wanted to be out of the house before at a certain time every day. So I established a pattern every day before every show. Pretty much, there was a pattern, which most people do, and athletes do in order to get in the zone. They do rituals, and that's to quiet your mind. It's just to quiet your mind. So you do something you've done a million times, and you don't have to think. That's all it is. So you don't have to think so hard. So, but today I went to so this beard thing, right? Which I like to keep short. I like how it looks. I like how it looks. That's all. It's the shortest possible setting. Even at a barber who has all the tools, it's the very shortest. But I was doing it myself, which makes sense because I was on, I have no money, or I need to be very cautious with my money because I'm unemployed. So I cannot get a job in the field I seek because of my background, my criminal background, because of things I did during that 2023, which actually really probably shouldn't have been illegal at all. Well, I'm sorry, at least one of them. But because of that, I'm unable to work. So I've been very cautious, but it's good to, I don't know. I just, whenever I do this, hair goes literally everywhere. And no matter how much I clean up, that's the problem, is I clip this thing and I'll clean and clean and clean and clean. And I will always see more little tiny hairs all over my bathroom. And it's unavoidable. It's for me, who's not that adept with cleaning. I can't get rid of them. So I was like, I got to have somebody else do it. And that's better anyway. So I decided there's this really cool place where men go, and had somebody do it for me. And it was not cheap, but I'm going to do it every week because it's so much more enjoyable. I met a Michael and an Aaron, which is one of those is to try not to dox everybody immediately. But one of those is the same name as someone in my family. That's all I'll say. So it was good biblical names. So far today. Mustache. Yeah, young kids are into that. I still think it's not for me. It's just not for me. The guy was like, your beard is very thick. So that's the other thing. I learned some things. I met this guy, talked about him, Catholic. His mom was super religious. So she named him Michael. I was like, oh, you're named after an angel. That's wonderful. And she was like, yeah, that's what my mom said. I was like, oh, that's great. And then talked to him about Bitcoin. Oh, no one ever comments on my shirts. No one has forever. And I wear one of our shirts if the weather permits, or I'm wearing one of our hoodies. I'm usually wearing one of the shirts we created, and nobody ever says anything. But today, the girl behind me in line was like, I love your shirt. And I'm wearing a shirt that says Bitcoin saves. She was, I like your shirt. And on the way out, I was like, I hope you're buying more. I was like, okay, good. You understand. I was like, you care about your future. Good for you. And on the way out, I was like, buy some. I hope you're buying it today, you know? So I had a good experience. My Bitcoin missionary, because previously I believed God told me to tell people to get Bitcoin. 3 hours is as much as I should ever do. Thanks, here, I'll show you. This is this one. We have a lot of these left. They're just not popular. Any shirt we made that was just lift the veil was never popular. That had our logo or anything like it on it. So if you want one, actually someone's here. So the show is going to go longer than 3 hours because someone's here, our friend who has a good connection, who we get to see. What's up? What's up, dude? Nice shirt.
Yeah.
I haven't been wearing that one. That one was a little tight, but now that I'm so skinny, I can fit in it. So maybe I'll wear that tomorrow.
Yeah.
People used to comment on that. Do people tell you that? Do people once in a while when you wear it in public? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
It's just like it's a lot of the time. It's like the weed delivery people. They love it.
Oh, of course they do. Of course they do.
A lot of them.
Of course. Yeah, I know.
It's I don't know because they probably they're probably stoners themselves.
Well, yeah. Why do you? I mean, you can pretty much whether they're stoners like you or if they're just people who once in a whatever they are. Trust me, they've smoked weed before and they liked it. Anybody who's involved with that industry likes it for some reason. So, you know, and it does help with our telepathy. Our natural telepathy is enhanced through some certain chemicals.
Yeah, with me, like it brings out so much with music that like it's like I'm not creating it. It's like coming out of nowhere.
Yes, that is the Holy Spirit. They love you.
I feel it, man. Like I totally feel that. But if I smoke, every single day, it's like you gotta take a break, and then when you come back, and it's just like, wow, it's back again. That spirit is back. But I wonder if that's the cheating. If smoking pot is cheating.
Yes. According to the original law, yes. And if it were still illegal, it would be particularly problematic. But to really do it the way God intended, you're supposed to use you're supposed to do it like the Mormons, basically. You're supposed to do it like the Mormons, pretty much. No caffeine, nothing. Literally, you can't smoke. But nicotine is nicotine is very, very like I have a treatment plan for schizophrenics. Like I know what helps. Like and one of those things is that you can't do anything. Although maybe a little weed if you're in a safe environment and not operating anything dangerous.
Yeah.
But really genuinely like the way you're supposed to do it. So you don't end up like I did basically, because cannabis is what got me in the nut house the first time, just a very high dose of actually, what at the time was a very high dose and is no longer. Now I don't feel it when I use cannabis. I just don't feel it. And I just use small amounts because I want to be very, as cautious as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would quit too but it's okay. Like I don't mind, but
I'm on it like all the time pretty much, but the I have MS. I'm at home all the time, and that's how that is. But I do know that the fact that I'm on clonazepam and I've been on it for 15 years, if I wasn't on that, I wouldn't be able to smoke weed at all.
oh really? Because
I would get like serious anxiety attacks when
yeah.
not at first, but then like later on in life, I started getting that, and I couldn't take it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That and actually the same was true of me pretty much, which was that it was very, very dangerous for me to take. It turned out not very, very, but in higher doses,
Yeah,
very, 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 very dangerous because it would put me into trance. That's the problem. It would put
yeah,
me into trance.
I've
And I
never.
would not, and I was overtaken, because I was also working with spirit, I would be overtaken and actually, so that's the danger of it. But otherwise, generally it's safe, even for people who are a little weird. It
I mean,
generally is totally safe.
that definitely not recommended, I guess, for people with certain conditions. That's for sure. Because
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, man, this pharmaceutical drug is the only reason I can smoke this cannabis, which does help me medically in lots of
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. I find it does help me too, and I always had a prescription for it. So like I was doing it legally in Northern California before it became totally legal. I always had a prescription. And I found it I found it I just found it useful. And actually I've been channeling for a long time because I do a live show and I don't always consciously think about what I'm saying, which means I'm channeling, which means something is, my subconscious. Okay. I'm channeling my subconscious mind.
When I,
I've been doing that for a long time, and I always would take a dose of liquid THC before the show.
oh, okay.
Today I did. Today I did not. Today I didn't. So,
But you know what, man? Like, that's always kind of fun, and it makes it easier to let go and
yeah.
just let it out, and even if you're not thinking about it, it'll come out, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's
We're
that's
designed to not think at all, actually. It's
yeah,
very strange.
that's kind of crazy in some ways. I kind of understand that with the from the drug perspective. I just gotta say, man, it's like you're entering a realm where you're doing things, and there's other musicians and rock stars have talked about it. They say it's like there's something else controlling my hands, or
Yes,
there's
yes.
something,
Yes, everyone,
like
many, many, many artists
yeah,
have experienced the exact same experience,
yeah,
exactly the same experience I'm going through right now. I just happen to do it around the clock. That's all. But during jam sessions, whatever it is, I mean, during, there is a spirit, and people, there's a spirit that moves you. Everybody says it. It is
do
a spirit. It is literally the spirit of the creator, is literally of the create. Well, he was singular at the time, or dual, but now as many. But the collective, I mean, that is the spirit of our race. That is the spirit of where we came from, our original race.
Yeah, dude.
Which is just beautiful, which is so perfect. When humans channel that spirit, humans show us.
If you watch every single one of my videos on my channel, every single one where I'm playing music, I'm channeling that with marijuana. I'm like in another realm with
Yeah,
every one of those videos, and also alcohol is part of the equation too.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah.
now it's just like that's not gonna be good. I can't do that no more.
Hmm.
It's no good. But I like kombucha though, man. You ever had Health Aid kombucha?
Maybe I should have some.
This is good, man. It's good for your stomach.
Okay, I'll get some. Yeah, I was having it I had stomach problems for a long time. I was trying lots of different things. Kombucha, you know
Yeah,
what? I
certain.
I don't I don't really crave it or anything. So I kind of do things like if I really want something. Matcha, there's this like matcha thing I've been drinking that I
Yeah,
sometimes crave.
yeah.
So sometimes I like that. So there might be something about matcha that makes you feel good, but
Like the
otherwise
probiotics, man. Probiotics are good, I think, because
probiotics, yeah.
yeah, and that Health Aid kombucha has that. The other kombuchas all have it, but this is in a real glass bottle, and it's carbonated. That's refreshing. Even if it gets warm, it still tastes okay for me.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to drink beer. I just used to drink beer all day long. I would have about 18 beers a day
When
when
was that?
when I was working.
Was that like when you were in your 20s or 30s
Um
or teens or 20s?
30s probably. When I was selling cars a lot of the time until I
Did you?
quit. Until 2000. I quit in 2000. In 2009 I stopped doing this. So 2009 was the first time I had a spiritual awakening. That was when I quit all the things that I was doing then, which was opioids, a
Yeah.
very high dose of methadone, very high dose of methadone, very high dose of Xanax, and about 20 beers a day. Bud Lights though, so it's not really beer. I mean, it's basically like flavored
Yeah.
water.
Like
But
piss beer, yeah, like the yeah, Bud Light.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
used to do that, and then while I was at work, I would drink about 10 or 12 Diet Cokes back to back. Then when I got home, I would continue drinking beer and downing pills.
Yeah, God, man, Diet Cokes, dude. I don't know about that shit because anything with diet that's artificial sweetener, dude, I don't think that's good at all.
My customers who cared about me, well, at least one I remember in Northern California, this person who obviously cared about my well-being because they must have liked me, was like, "Here, drink this. Like, I don't want you drinking Diet Coke anymore." So she brought me something nice, was trying to let me know that it probably wasn't good. It's probably not. It really, I've done many things that should have killed me, actually. It really
Me
should have
too.
killed me.
Me too, dude. Me too. I know that
So
one. Yeah. Yeah.
that's why it's like that's why actually with the George Floyd thing a little bit, it's like he was on a lethal dose of fent, but I was on a lethal dose of methadone every single day, and
Damn,
I
dude.
continued to live, which because for most people it would be, I don't know, maybe it wasn't lethal, I don't know, but
So
mixed with benzos and alcohol.
yeah, benzo and like you kind of balanced it out, sort of.
I have no
So you
idea
could
what I was
like
doing.
like you could.
Honestly, I have no idea.
I
I
mean,
have no
like
idea.
were you?
I
What I mean to say, ask is, were you functional while you were?
Yes, I
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
every day. I
yeah,
worked 6 days
yeah.
a week,
That's pretty
every
wild.
day. I showed up on time and I was awesome.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
really good. I was the best.
I know. I fucking well with pot. I used to work really well with pot. When I was working fucking, what's that called? When you're working with customer shit. What's that called?
Customer service.
Customer service, whatever. I love to talk to those little old ladies when I was stoned. Back in my 20s, dude, like fucking, they
See,
loved
like
me, dude. They
the
fucking loved me. Oh
the thing
shit.
is like when you're in the zone,
Yeah,
everything is great. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Everything is perfect. Everybody's awesome. Everybody loves you for some reason, you know?
Well, yeah,
Everybody wants to be in the zone, you know?
yeah. I mean,
So,
that is a good feeling, and especially when it has high terpenes. My God, this stuff I got from District Cannabis, which is I think originally from DC, but they have a plant out in Maryland. So I got this stuff from District Cannabis called Beach Cake, and
oh yeah, anything with cake in it is good to me. I just these are cake. These are something cake.
oh really? Yeah. So
I love wedding cake. I love
oh yeah,
I'm just an indica. I like indica.
yeah.
Cookies, cake, and well, sour diesel is good. I don't know which blend that is. That's pretty good. It's not my favorite.
It's kind of like a sativa hybrid. They're all hybrids, but
Yeah, everything's a hybrid. So you look for certain words: cake, cookies,
yeah, and
and
even then they could have some other, like they could like transform it into something else like at any point in time, with another flower.
yeah, right.
They could
Genetic.
breed it with
I
something
mean,
else.
it's kind of genetically modified in a
Oh
way.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
all is. I mean, like at least it's not done with like micro whatever, like genes and shit like that. Like unless they're doing that, I mean, maybe they are, and we just don't know it.
They certainly could be,
I mean, like
but if
sometimes,
your product feels good, I mean, that's how I judge things. I'm an incredibly sensitive being. So
yeah,
I just see how it makes me feel, and then I just try to stick to the stuff that I know is good.
yeah,
I started there's for the first time I saw this strain and liquid of God's gift, which is like almost exactly my name. My name just only means gift, but
yeah, Nathan, that's right.
Nathanael does mean gift from God. That's not my
Yeah,
name, but
yeah.
so I was like, oh, it's named after me and it's an indica, so I'm getting that whenever I see it for sure. It's
Um,
pretty good.
I saw that on the menu, and I've been wanting to try that.
Yeah, try it. See what you think. It's
Yeah,
named after, it's kind of it's like that's cool.
it's
It's
all
my
about
Hebrew name.
terpenes, man. Like the terps is
Terps. Yeah. I had that inclination too. These have terps. Yeah.
this pack like this is an eighth package, and it has the list of the terpenes, and this is beyond belief because it's like 4.89 total terpene of like different types,
I
and
don't know
like
what that means, but
the caryophyllene is like 1.8 something in this, and
mhm.
it's like nothing I've ever had. This is really good.
It's good. Tell me what it is just in case I see it at the shop.
It's beach cake.
It's a cake that's high in terpenes.
Yeah, and but like nothing's created equal, and these are it could be different wherever it comes from. So whatever cultivator made it.
Right. So who
But,
knows?
but like you can look at the menus now, like online, and it'll tell you how many terpenes are in it now
That's
on the
cool.
on the menu, and like and look at the terpenes and look for the limonene.
Jim,
Good.
no,
Yeah.
nobody cares but me.
All
So
right. Sorry.
might as
All right.
well move on from terpenes,
Yeah.
honestly.
Sorry. Yeah. Whatever. Sorry.
Like literally no one cares.
All right. Well.
But you want to play accordion? That everybody wanted to hear you play accordion.
Well.
Can we do that at least?
It might fuck up on StreamYard, but I can.
Oh, who cares? I'll mute my mic. So
I'm gonna have to push this back a minute.
I'll highlight. Let me see if I can highlight you somehow. Can I edit this? Crop layout. Can I slide this too? Let's see. Maybe I can. Oh, cool. Oh, no, that didn't work. How do I make Jim? Oh, no, I can't do that. Huh.
Make
Interesting.
me in the center, I guess. I don't know if you can, unfortunately, the treble side's going to be over here.
Let's see. I want to see you. Let's hold on. Let me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's as good as it gets. Go ahead. I'll mute myself. Go ahead, dude. Just play whatever. Doesn't matter. It sounds bad. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
It might start out good, but then it'll start.
Oh, I got my harmonica. Let's see if I've learned. Let's see if I can magically play the harmonica. Who knows?
Well,
I was trying this before. It never worked.
This
Okay.
one's in the key of. I can find one in the key of C, so it'll match.
Can you match? Yeah. Can you match my
Yeah.
key?
I have to put this aside for a minute because I have to reach over here.
My grandfather's harmonica, a Horner. It's German. I'm sure it was pretty good at the time.
Honer, this particular accordion has Honer reeds in it.
Oh, really? Cool. So we can match them up.
It's a transplant. It used to have Italian reeds, but they're both good. But like I like Honer reeds in a lot of ways, but for certain they use a lot of air, but they got this sound that I really like, man. All right, so yeah, we're in C.
Okay.
Now pull, draw.
Okay, go ahead.
Did that drown out?
No, that was cool. You're right. StreamYards fucks it up. StreamYards isn't that great. I maybe I need something better than StreamYards. Maybe I actually need to find something better than StreamYards. I probably do.
It's funny, man. The Facebook thing has better sound than all of them.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that. I'm not on Facebook. Maybe I'll try Facebook because that. Actually, I need to see if my Twitch channel is still working. Maybe I'll see if I can get that working. I'll do Twitch too.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, guys, that the music wasn't better. That's not our fault. It's not Jim's fault. It was beautiful. It just the StreamYards fucks it up. Thanks, Jim. We're gonna run right now. So,
thanks,
dude. Great seeing you. It's always good to see you. Good to talk to you as a real person.
Yeah, dude. It was awesome. Thanks for having me up.
All right, dude.
See you around.
Later. Okay. All right, guys. Talk to you later. It's been long enough. So hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you learned one new thing. That's all I can try to do. Hopefully you learned something new today. And we'll see if we can do the same thing tomorrow. All right. Have a good night. And for now, that's what it is.